In organized gang stalking expeditions, organized stalking, or you can call it gang stalking expeditions, what they basically do is craft organized harassment as a result of the tracking and surveillance of a target. And the tracking and surveillance can be done through a whole wide range of modalities, which are basically modes of operation and methods and tactics. One is to literally infiltrate your cell phone and use it as a GPS tracker and even as a audio microphone by tapping into the speaker of the cell phone and using that as a listening device. And both of these descriptions can be YouTubed and cross-referenced to organized stalking or gang stalking. Just go to YouTube and type in cell phone hacking. Now, you might think to yourself, if a person is at one place and they're going to another place, and when they get to that place, the people that they have solicited for the day to engage in organized stalking towards a target are already at the place the target goes to before the target even arrives. So when the target gets there, they have to experience the organized gang stalking harassment. You might think to yourself, how is that done? Well, it can be done as far as using the target's cell phone as a GPS tracker, tracking them through GPS coordinates, and then basically deducing where they probably are going. Like if a target thinks to themselves, I'm going to take an airplane to go somewhere, and then looking up on their computer or even their cell phone, and if their cell phone and computer is being monitored, the perpetrators can deduce that there's a great likelihood they're going to go to the airport because they're looking up travel routes and travel destinations and airline, particular airline companies to go to the place they're going to. Or they might even use sophisticated technology that is mentioned at the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance, the first 3 PDF links. One of them being remote neural monitoring, where they can literally monitor a target neurally from a remote distance in order to be able to scrutinize what a target is processing concerning where they're going. And if you don't believe me, I want you to look at something. But before I show it to you, I want you to understand something. As a result of doing extremely in-depth research and even researching documents online concerning not only the remote neural monitoring, but concerning how journalists and people at the PhD level who have spent years themselves researching these technological resources of organized stalking expeditions, they have even deduced that sophisticated technology is being used against organized gang stalking targets, satellite technology. Now, how do I know this? As a direct result of looking at targets' blogs, their YouTube videos, looking at PhD individuals who have PhD doctorate level education and how they have done extensive research into reference to targets' claims. Go to Google and type in how the Hemet Police Gang Squad was being gang stalked. You can go to the YouTube channel titled GS Watchdog, which is Gang Stalking Watchdog YouTube channel, and type in Hemet Police Gang Squad Gang Stalked. In the feature of their video that covers the Hemet Police being gang stalked is a PDF link for Examiner.com's article concerning the Hemet Police Gang Squad being gang stalked, along with some Riverside public officials. Now you're going to have to really, what you're going to have to do is copy and paste that link from that GS Watchdog YouTube channel video concerning the Hemet Police being gang stalked at Google, in the Google search bar, okay? And then click on it, and then look for the web page that in reference to the Examiner.com Deborah Dupree Examiner.com article concerning the Hemet Police gang squad being gang stalked. It flat out states in that article satellite surveillance was more than likely used on these Riverside public officials and the Hemet Police gang squad as a result of them being gang stalked. In order to be able to deduce where the Hemet Police gang squad was going to be at a specific place and time, and the Riverside public officials, in order to set them up to possibly be murdered. Okay? Now, satellite technology, when it comes to how remote neural monitoring is being used and how stationary satellites in the community, like cable TV satellites, cell phone towers, even satellites that are in the air or possibly even in outer space, are being used as a piggyback apparatuses for them to piggyback their frequencies on these satellites in order to be able to bounce their signal off of them to the vectored location of where a target's at, so they can modulate their frequency down to interface with the bioelectric frequency, the resonance frequency of each individual that they're targeting. Yes, I know this sounds crazy, but if you look at the remote neural monitoring file at the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance, you'll clearly be able to see that these are the factual realities. You have to just look at it this way. When you look at the remote neural monitoring file that is online, and how it states that targets can be tracked in real time as a result of the resonance frequency of their brain being monitored. They're not monitoring a target's evoked potentials for no reason. They're not monitoring so they can just sit back and read what they're picking up from the bioelectric frequency that the brain is emitting as it's processing information to just sit back and look at it. They're using the information that they monitor in order to be able to deliberate and craft the surveillance, the harassment, which includes anything from rapes to assaults to staged arrests to staging an incident so they can petition the target into the hospital, so they can use it as a playbook concerning how they're going to react or act towards a target legally. Now, what we have to understand here is that this technology has been around for at least 30 years. But whenever the government has technology that they want to keep it secret, they will not even hint it even to the academia world until they're comfortable with the fact that they have modernized their uses for it to the point to where they're 30 years ahead of even academia being a hold of it. And I'm not the only person who's saying that either. Now, what we have to understand here, well, also, let me backtrack for a second. Go to YouTube and type in John Hall Satellite Terrorism and listen to every single one of his videos. He clearly mentions gang stalking is directly connected to remote neural monitoring. Now, getting back to how the government and the military will develop certain technologies and then not allow even the academia or the business community to use these technologies once they have discovered them, developed them, and tweaked them to the point to where they can be used. They'll only allow it if two things happen. That they find that how the academia or the business world is going to use it is not a threat to them in reference to the applications and scenarios they're using it for, or if it gets to the point to where academia, through so much research, has discovered it and they could not keep a lid on the exposure of it because so many people now are into biotechnology. Let me help you understand something. That PDF link that you find at the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance, their homepage, the remote neural monitoring file, and the second file as well, shows a 1991 lawsuit concerning remote neural monitoring. 1991, and it is now 2013. Okay? That makes it over almost 22 years. Just since that one particular lawsuit. 22 years right there. 1991, 2001, 2011, and then now 2013. That's 22 years, almost 23 years since that lawsuit. Okay? Now I want you to look at something. This right here is an article I just recently found. And notice how it says here, a team of California scientists have developed the world's first portable brain scanner. Okay? Portable brain scanner. And notice how it's the size of a cell phone. Okay? And look at how it says. It says the iBrain can read your mind and upload it to computers. Because it's basically what it's doing is it's reading the EEG fluctuations, which are the evoked potential fluctuations. Whenever you think a certain thought, no matter what kind of thought it is, like I am going to go to the store, these are different words in your brain that are composing sentences for psychological direction. Each area of the brain, okay, and the language area of the brain is in a specific area of the brain. As a result of each type of word being processed that composes the sentence, your brain will emit a spike, okay, an EEG spike, which means the electrical activity of each word has a different spike to it. They've been able to monitor the brain for long enough. You can go to YouTube and type in Leslie Hall and mind reading, and you'll be able to see a video she made long ago concerning a 2020 interview, concerning how a computer was literally able to ascertain what a person was neurally processing in reference to specific words. And that's really all remote neural monitoring is. Now, if they are able to literally scan a person's brain in order to be able to deduce what evoked potentials they're processing, the EEG readouts, because each specific word has a specific EEG spike, where the oscillation of the brain activity produces a neural bioelectrical spike pertaining to each word, pertaining to an area of the brain that language holds. They have literally decoded the fact that concerning the bioelectric frequencies of each specific type of word in order to be able to identify the words being processed, and then it's hooked up to supercomputers that run on trillions of flops per second and are able to deduce what is being processed. Yes, even before the thought is consciously fully processed, because when you are processing a thought, it processes from the unconscious to the subconscious to the preconscious to the conscious. I have read targets' blogs where they're already being harassed about a thought before it's even fully consciously processed in their mind, because the thought is born up in the unconscious through the subconscious through the preconscious, and then it arrives as a complete verbal sentence where subvocal speech is attached to it in the consciousness, between the preconscious and the consciousness. And the computer has already deliberated what the target's processing, probably more than likely before it even reaches the preconscious. And as a result, it scrutinizes what it reads and then will pick and compose sentences to harass and speak back to the target using the microwave hearing effect. Yes, as a result of them having the target's stationary position, physical position, vectored, and they do nothing but transmit electronic harassment back to the target based on a theme of what the remote neural monitoring is reading from the target. Yes, before the thought is even completed in real time in their consciousness. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, I strongly suggest you thoroughly research the videos online by going to YouTube and typing in Remote Neural Monitoring NYC Chronicles. Listen to all her videos. She flat out states she's being harassed about her thoughts before her thoughts are even completed. Yes, I am in San Diego, California, and the reason why I make these videos, and the reason why I want fellow San Diegoans, fellow Californians, and fellow Americans to understand something. Brain scanners are mentioned in the SurveillanceIssues.com article. You thoroughly review SurveillanceIssues.com and the Hearing Voices feature, and thoroughly and meticulously scrutinize every single thing that is on that webpage, you'll flat out see that brain scanners and thought-activated computers have been around at least since the 80s. Now, if your child or your son, your daughter, or any relative is either going to school or working on any university campuses, and you got criminals that are holding handheld devices that that look like cell phones, hand tablets, or specific types of laptops, they have the brain scanners that are directly attached within the monitor, the back face of the monitor where there's a camera, okay? And what they'll do is they'll either walk behind, sit behind, or sit by a target that they're neurally choreographing. Yes, in order to brain scan their brains for eventual brain entrainment, for eventual even possible human trafficking. Go to YouTube and type in Timothy W. Bioethics Issues. He talks about neurocognitive weapons and brain entrainment. And then look at the second PDF link at the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance. I did what I want fellow American citizens, fellow Californians, and fellow San Diegoans to understand something. Gang stalking is a nationwide syndicate. It is up and operating on every university campus in the United States. It's organized crime in the system that is hosting these expeditions, managing them, allowing them, protecting them, and making money off of them. And they will literally brain scan your son, your daughter, or your relative at a university campus or a college campus. And they're even doing it actually, I believe, on middle school and high school campuses as well, and for future neural exploitation, which results in future neural enslavement to make money. Now, I did what I did because I know that if I was a father or a mother or an aunt or a grandmother or grandfather, I would want to know if there was criminals that are attached to some of the most heinous criminal aspirations that your mind can conceive. Would you want your son, daughter, or relative to be neurally scanned, brain scanned, by these devices on a university campus? And I'm here today to tell you, fellow American citizens, I know it for a fact that campus safety allows it and has even participated in these organized gang stalking expeditions. Because at the end of the day, the deans and the associates and whatever you want to call them, the people that run the universities, the only thing that they care about is the image of the university. They do not care one bit whatsoever about your son, your daughter, or your relative that works on it. I'm here today, fellow American citizens, to expose the truth. So if anybody that you know, a friend, a family or member, or a child that you know, or a sibling, ever starts to act peculiar or out of character, understand this and be clear. There's a high probable chance that they were neurally choreographed on a university or college campus, or maybe even just at a public school. And I expose these truths because I can look you flat in the eye and know that you care about your loved ones. And if somebody was to have done this to my son or daughter, I would want somebody to tell me the truth, so I can then make and deliberate and scrutinize the education concerning these technologies, so I can nip it off at the bud in reference to the neural exploitation. Yes, I did what I did to help you, and that's the only thing I wanted you to know. Alright, thank you.